Today we're going to talk about the area of a circle. So the ratio of the area of a circle to the square of its radius is pi. So that means that if we multiply the radius squared by pi, we will receive the area. Pi is the ratio between the area and the radius squared. So the area of a circle is the shaded part here, the entire surface of a circle, and the radius being the distance from the centre to the outside edge to the circumference. We've also got some special shapes here. We've got half of a circle is called a semicircle. So that's a straight line cutting straight through the centre, the diameter of the circle, and only having half of the circle there. So not surprisingly, the area is cut in half as well. So the area of a semicircle is going to be a half of pi r squared, the half of the area of a whole circle. A quarter of a circle is called a quadrant. So quad meaning 4, and we'll cut up into four parts. And so we've got 1/4 of a circle here. You'll notice that the angle that's made for the circle is 90 degrees. So because we've got 1/4 of a circle, once again, not surprisingly, we've got 1/4 of the area. So 1/4 of the area of the whole circle, 1/4 multiplied by pi r squared, the area of a whole circle. And we can do this for any part of the circle. If you notice that we've got here, there are 360 degrees in one circle. If we do a 360 degree turn, that means that we're spinning around in a full circle. If we're doing a 180 degree turn, that means we're going around half a circle. We're doing an about face, a turning around 180 degrees. So here we've got 180 degrees out of the total of the 360 degrees. 180 degrees out of 360 is a half. 180 degrees is half of the total circle of 360 degrees. So that means we've gone around 1/2 of the circle. Similarly, 90 degrees here, a 90 degree angle is 1/4 of that whole 360 degrees turn, because we've got 90 divided by 360, which is just 1/4. So here we've got 90 degrees out of our 360. So we could do that for absolutely any angle that we had there. If it was 100 degrees, it would be 100 out of 360, 100 out of 360 total degrees. Here we've got 1 out of a total of 4 parts that we're looking at. So if this was a pizza and it was cut into 4 parts, we've got 1 quadrant there, and we'd have 1/4 of the area of our pizza. So if we're having a look at some examples, we're asked you to find the areas of the following shapes correct to 2 decimal places. Our first shape, we've got a full circle, it's the whole circle, and we're asked to find the area of that whole circle. The radius here we've got labelled as 2 centimetres. So if we're working out what that's going to be, what the area of that whole circle is going to be, we know the area is equal to pi multiplied by the radius squared. So the radius is 2 centimetres, so we substitute 2 in for the radius, pi times 2 squared. So that's pi times 4. We can plug that into our calculator and we get a large number, or a number with a lot of decimal places out, 12.5663, and it goes on and on. But we're asked to find it correct to 2 decimal places. So that means we need to find it correct to this decimal place right here. Now we can look at the number beside it. The number beside it is 5 or above, so it's 6, it's higher than that, so we need to round up. So we've rounded up from 0.5663 to 0.57. So our answer is 12.57 centimetres squared, or square centimetres. So note the units that we've got there, square centimetres, relate to the units that we've got the radius in. Square centimetres, they're the same units, or the same magnitude of units. So for our second shape here, we've got a quadrant. It's a quarter of a circle, so we're going to be finding a quarter of the area of the total circle. We've got one of the radii measured here, 3 metres, and this length would be the same length as well. That would be 3 metres as well, because those are both the radii, the radiuses that are shown there. So regardless of where I was to measure the radius, they would all be 3 metres on this quadrant. So we're looking for a quarter of the area here, Area equals 1/4 multiplied by pi r squared, so it's a quarter of the total area that would be in this circle if it was a full circle. So we've got a quarter times pi times 3 squared, 3 being the radius here. So the radius is 3 meters. So putting that into our calculator, we get once again a large decimal that comes out, 7.06858, and it keeps going. But we've been asked once again to round it to 2 decimal places. So we have a look at the second decimal place here. It's 6. The one next to it is an 8, which means that we're going to need to round up again. We're going to need to round up from 6 to 7. So we're going from 6 to 7, so the answer we've got there is 7.07 meters, square meters. So it's the units, once again, square meters, we're looking at squared units. Now for our last shape here, we've got a semicircle, and what's marked on our diagram isn't the radius, it's the diameter, the distance from one edge of the circle to another edge going through the centre of the circle. In this case, the centre of our semicircle. So we need to find the area of this shape. The area is going to be a half of the area of a total circle with that radius, but we need to find what the radius is. So the radius is going to be 1/2 of the distance of the diameter. Sorry, 1/2 of the diameter. If this is the full diameter, then the radius here is going to be 1/2. The radius is this distance from here to here, and that's going to be 1/2 of that total amount. So we can divide the diameter by 2. So 5 kilometres divided by 2 is 2.5 kilometres, and that's the radius. The radius here, the radius is 2.5 kilometres. So we know the formula for our shape, or the formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. We've got a half of the circle, so it's a half pi r squared, 1/2 times pi r squared, so 1/2 times pi times 2.5 squared, because 2.5 is our radius of our circle. Plugging that into our calculator yields decimal 9.817 and many more decimal numbers there, but we only have to round to the second decimal place just here. So 9.817. If we look at the number next to the 1, this is the decimal place we have to round, so we need to either keep it the same or round it up. So the number next to it is 5 or above, it's 7, so we need to round up again. So the answer is going to be 9.82 square kilometres. And once again, you can have a look at the units. The units for our diameter and our radius are in kilometres, so the units for the area will be square kilometres.